Welcome, welcome. We're super excited to chat with you here about this is a new type of webinar that we're doing. So you guys are the first cohort of this. You're going to be our guinea pigs, and hopefully you'll be able to give us some feedback if this makes sense and what might not make sense. So for the next one, we can do even better. Let's go ahead and get started, and I'm sure people will trickle in as we do it. So my name is Dmitry. I am the CEO of MindStudio. And then we also have some other team members here who maybe quickly, team members, introduce yourselves. So they know whose faces they're looking at.
Hey everyone, my name is Jay, and I'm heading up partnerships and BD for MindStudio. Luis.
Hey all, my name's Luis. I'm a lead product manager here at MindStudio.
And then we have
Emily. We've also got some folks that are they're watching in the background, but Liz, Emily, Giorgio, and Una are here from the MindStudio team as well.
Okay, awesome. I think people probably, if you've used MindStudio at all and have been in Discord, you know who Una is. Una runs support. She's amazing. Giorgio is doing lots of education and building of AIs and best practice development. And Liz runs communications and marketing and all things there. Okay, fantastic. So I'm going to lead you, excuse me, through a few slides, and then Luis is going to talk a bit about, show you a demo of MindStudio AI, and then we'll kind of go from there. Okay, and I think Luis, you're driving, yeah?
Yeah, just let me know and just say next, and I'll
okay,
move on to the next one.
Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so I assume because you've shown up here, you generally know what MindStudio is, and that you're here because you're interested in how you might be able to either take your existing agency that you might have and augment it with being able to build and implement AI applications for various types of organizations, or you might not have an agency and you might realize that there's an opportunity to build a new business of sort of serving the needs of various organizations that are in need of AI digital transformation. So next. So MindStudio is a venture-backed company. We've raised $36 million. Next. From a bunch of really interesting investors. If you're curious, you can go to our website and then /about and see a list there. We're growing very rapidly. Today we have over 37,000 of these AI applications that have been built and deployed. They are deployed inside of giant enterprises and government agencies and thousands of small and medium-sized businesses, and obviously also used by individual solopreneurs to do it. So AI is needed by any type of organization, and we're already seeing it again very quickly render itself here. And also, we're seeing AI applications being built for pretty much every type of job function you can imagine: sales and marketing and recruiting and such. And again, this matrix here is on our website. You can always peruse it on your own time, and we'll touch upon some of these use cases a little bit later in this webinar. Okay, next. So this is a unique and amazing time to be getting into building AI applications. I've been in tech since 1984 when I started writing code, and so I've seen the evolution of organizations doing this thing called digital transformation, where it used to be only giant companies had access to information technology, to computers, right? Because they had mainframes. And then again, in the 80s, we had the PC revolution. So everybody in organizations ran out and bought, personal computers for their employees and gave them tools to be able to use these things, spreadsheets and word processing and things like that. And again, since then, we've gone through sort of many phases of this digital transformation. We went through the cloud, we went through SaaS, we went through mobile. Now everybody's got mobile, vertical SaaS, and so enterprises are constantly in the process of trying to level up their capabilities so their employees are radically more productive, and so the enterprise is more competitive. But I've never experienced a time where there's been so much sort of excitement and pressure on organizations to get there as quickly as possible as we see now. And so whatever the organization is, they're hearing from all sides that this is an existential crisis. Either AI, as it sort of evolves, GPT-5, GPT-6, GPT-8, whatever, is going to kill you, or probably more practically, that your competitors that figure out how to use AI will kill you. But no matter what, it's a life and death situation, so you better pay attention right now and go figure out what you can do with AI in order to be competitive. Next. And again, you should take advantage of this because there's just incredible demand out there. And as I mentioned, this is for every type of organization imaginable in every industry of every size. Right now, they are looking for what can I do with AI to be more competitive. Next. So while some organizations, take a stab at trying to figure things out on their own, for example, giving their employees access to ChatGPT or going and using a tool like Jasper or Copy or Writer, like any of these vertical SaaS tools. Again, we sit at like this really interesting vantage point where we just have a tremendous amount of inbound traffic, organic. 86% of our exponential growth right now is organic, primarily word of mouth. And typically, by the time these organizations come to us and realize that this is the right type of solution, they've tried doing things themselves. They have given their employees access to large language models or image models. They have tried vertical SaaS and sort of realized that it didn't give them what they were looking for, which is this like really powerful, amazing leveling up of their productivity and sort of the capabilities of their employees. And then they discover MindStudio and they say, this is amazing. This is the right solution. But then they're like, okay, but then I've got to learn how to use it. And I need to train my employees how to build with this thing. And then, oftentimes they come to us and they say, well, could I just hire someone that's already trained to be able to build it? And this is obviously the opportunity here for, again, we're calling them agencies. These could be, an individual. We now have a certified training program that's graduated, I think maybe around 3 dozen, correct me guys if I'm wrong, something around that order of people who have gone through our, full day training and completed a project and are now certified. And so those people are out there servicing these various organizations as individuals. But kind of this next push for us is to enable more people to be able to do that, because again, the demand is so great that we really need agencies to step up, learn to use MindStudio, and go and service all of this demand of these various organizations that need it. Okay, and obviously incredible opportunity for agencies to be able to just generate tremendous amount of business because there's just so much demand. Okay, next. Some of you, again, may already be agencies and may have participated in some of these sort of waves that have come up before. For example, there's many agencies that build giant businesses on top of enabling people, building Shopify stores for organizations, or building, going and implementing Notion or Asana or these various other sort of project management tools, or building websites with things like Webflow. And so if you've done that already, you can think of this as a new wave, except radically bigger than these waves. By the time that any of these services came up, there were already other ways of doing this. For example, Webflow. There's countless other web builders before, and practically everybody already had a website. And so, yes, you could build an agency doing Webflow and to level up people's websites and to serve new needs. But at this moment, nobody's got AI. and everybody needs AI. And so it's just a giant opportunity, but sort of a similar type of a thing. Like you're catching the wave early. Again, as I mentioned, you guys are literally our first cohort. So by whatever, stroke of luck, here you are, and you're hearing this opportunity. There's this great demand with a desperate need for people to go and service it. And again, charge top dollar for this, because this is incredibly powerful productivity that you can sort of derive out of this when you build these custom AI solutions that we'll tell you about. And so the ROI for these organizations is tremendous, and they're willing to pay for it. It's not like, oh, build me a website and charge a few $1,000s. Like you can do massive projects here for enterprises because, again, the value to them is so great. Okay, next. It might be in the back of your mind, like, I know nothing about AI. Like, how am I going to do this? And I think the point that we want to make here, as the slide says, is don't worry about it. You don't need to be a software developer to build an AI agency and, build and install AIs for enterprises. MindStudio is a tool that's now been learned by tens of thousands of people from all kinds of backgrounds in order to build these things. By the way, my now 10-year-old son, when he was 9, was still struggling to read a little bit, but was able to build AI applications, because you can even misspell everything as you're building AI applications and do it. So it's absolutely accessible. And really, you can learn to build these things by watching one of our pre-recorded webinars. So we've got an 18-minute one, we've got a 2-hour one. We also host these every week live if you want to participate live. And then if you want to, you can attend our full day 8-hour class and really get into the nitty-gritty of it. But certainly in a day or a couple of days, you or any of your employees in your agency can become masters at being able to understand what you can do with AI, like look at any organization and understand what they need. We'll jump into that in a second. And then be able to fulfill their needs. And so anyone can do it. Next. So quick agenda of what we're going to cover for the rest of this, right? We're going to teach you how to, again, think about AI. Again, AI is kind of this ambiguous general term, so we'll teach you what we mean when we say sort of AI digital transformation for organizations. By the way, oftentimes we might use the word enterprise. What we mean by that is not necessarily big organizations. It's any kind of an organization, big or small, or any industry, etc. So we'll teach you how to think about AI and sort of how to have a new lens so you could look at any organization and start to instantly see where you could build AIs for them to make their operations, dramatically better. We're going to teach you how to implement it. We'll give you a demo of it, and then on your own time, you can go and watch our webinars, or you can participate in our next live webinar and again, interact with us. We'll talk a bit about how you should think about pricing and packaging this. Finding customers here is sort of, again, a really unique situation. On kind of any other thing that you might be building, websites or design services or other things, you kind of need to go and knock on doors and go find customers and prospect. Here you'll see what you really need to do is just tell people that the service is available. And because so many people are looking for it, you're going to get inundated with people wanting you to build AIs for them. You're going to have to like qualify them and rank them and figure out where you spend your time. But you're going to be overwhelmed with demand. That's simply the way it is. And we'll also touch upon best practices. We won't cover all of them, but we continue to see, again, because there's now over 37,000 of these things out there being built, we sit in this like unique vantage point where we can see best practices sort of evolving as new models come up, as different models are used. By the way, we're model agnostic. We support all models. Again, we'll touch upon that in a bit. So anyway, so this is sort of the agenda for the rest of the call today. Next. Again, this is sort of the beginnings of this playbook that we're going to do next. Okay, I'm still doing these slides. Yes, guys? Sorry, we said this is our first cohort, so I'm talking. I don't want to talk over my team. I'm happy to talk about these, or if any of you want to do it.
Feel free to jump in, Jay.
I can take over for.
You want to take these? Yeah, I'm gonna let
Yeah,
Jay.
yeah. I'll take over, change it up the pace a little bit,
Yeah, for sure.
and just have someone else speaking. Um, I think the first step is just to let everybody know that you do AI. And so whether it's creating content on like LinkedIn or Twitter or Reddit or whatever your social channel is, just let people know. Even outside of the social channels, email the folks that you may already be working with. Think about it similar to how Dmitry mentioned earlier about potentially creating a new revenue stream. So if you have an agency already and you have customers that you're working with, maybe this could be another way to go to them and ask them, is this something that they also need support with? For new folks, maybe that also could be where you go focus on social channels, like reaching out to folks, because there is such a high demand in this space. Sometimes simply just letting people know will be able to help drive some of that inbound to your business, or even if it's just yourself kind of focusing on this as a solopreneur or a freelancer. Next slide. So Dimitri, do you want to tackle this one, or do you want me to give it a shot?
Sure. Yeah. Let me talk about this. So once you learn again what MindStudio is and how to use it, you will realize that you can sort of see the world in a new way. You sort of have a new lens that's through which you can see the world. And again, we're seeing this in market right now with these 37,000 AIs that have been deployed. And what you start to see once you realize what you can do with MindStudio is that there's sort of two primary things that you can do for enterprises right now. The first one is, again, to look at their operations, whatever those operations are, sales operations or marketing or support or like any part of any organization, how they do business. You can look at it and start to realize very quickly that some things that they've been doing with people can now be completely automated. That you can take the people completely out of the equation and simply create AIs that do the same thing that people were doing, but do it automatically. And that's the first thing that you should do as you're engaging with these enterprises is, again, have a consultation with them, get them to explain to you how their business operates, how all the pieces move around, and you'll be able to say, okay, I got that. Now we're going to take this thing and we're going to automate that, and we're going to take that and automate it, and this, and we're going to automate it. And so you automate everything that can be automated. Check. And once you've done that, you now have a smaller set of things to think about, things that still require people to do the work. Next slide. And again, once you got that smaller set, because these things have been automated, now the organization functions in a new way. For some things, you still need people. And now you look at that and you start to realize that each person, whatever it is they're doing in the organization, or each job function, sometimes not one person, but a group of people, that you can build for them custom applications, custom AI-powered applications that help them be radically more efficient as humans in doing that job. They still have to participate, but now these custom AI applications help them do that much faster, much better, smarter, with less mental effort on their part, whatever it is, right? And so these are sort of the two primary steps that you take in enabling organizations to leverage AI, to transform them, to do digital transformation using AI to create the AI-enabled organization, AI-enabled enterprise. First, you look at their processes. Second, you automate everything that can be automated. Third, whatever can't be automated, you create custom applications for them that make them operate even more efficiently with the remaining humans that they have. Okay? Okay, next slide. Okay, I think Luis is doing this part, yes?
Yeah, I gotcha. So now that Dimitri's described the process by which you approach companies, I just wanted to quickly show you an example of what one end state of this might look like. We I basically have an AI that I've created that takes into account, a client intake form. So most people on their website, they might have some sort of client intake form when a business approaches them. And at that point, the new client will fill in some information. The salesperson within that organization then needs to go and look up the information from the spreadsheet, potentially put it inside of a CRM, then take the information from the CRM, create collaterals out of it. And so one of the things that we've identified in this example when talking to the business that they service is that we could automate this process. We could not only automate the process of manually inputting all this information, but we can also augment the human, in this case, the salesperson, by helping them write content and sales materials in order to spend more time hopping on calls with folks. And so from the point that the potential client reaches your website, they begin to fill out some sort of client intake form, and this can look all kinds of different ways. I'm going to just put in some information here. Let's say their new client is Green Tech Solutions. The point of contact's Alex Johnson. They're the director of operations. There are 150 people at the company, and this form could be extremely long. I've filled out forms like this that have taken me, 10, 15 minutes to fill out. But for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to input this short version of the form that's going to allow me to take, all of the information that someone might put in and just paste it in. So let's say they give us their description of their company, their mission statement, their key messages, et cetera, and we can submit all of that, and we can just assume that they filled out the entire form. So at this point, we have a CRM, and we have set up some automations using a combination of Zapier and MindStudio in order to automatically take this information and put it in our CRM. So if we look at the couple of zaps, you can see it's now been populated. We have a new card for our CRM. In this case, it's on Trello, but it could be on something like Salesforce or anything like that. And it has now been populated with all of the information. And this is all thanks to Zapier here. So if we look at Zapier, we have created a couple of different zaps, right? And the first doesn't use MindStudio at all. It takes the information from the form, puts it in Trello. The second zap that we have creates some automations that leverage MindStudio, and then is able to take the information that's input into our CRM and run an AI in order to get a response. And so we can see, we can see here that we take the AI, we run it through, and we have it run this workflow, and then we get a response at the end of the workflow. And then inside of Zapier, we use that response, we create a comment, and then we format that text and have it automatically generate a draft of an email with some sales material that we could send over to our client. Now, keep in mind, as an agency, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be helping to set up this automation for your customer. And this is just one example of an area where you can find an optimization within that business process. So rather than, well, if you're talking to a client, they tell you, oh, well, this our current process involves form, and we input it into the CRM, and then the salesperson takes it from the CRM and starts writing materials, and then they have to draft an email, and then they have to update the CRM with their draft. We're automating this entire process so that at the point where the client fills out the form, the salesperson no longer has to manually input this information. The salesperson no longer has to ideate and come up with pain points and solutions for this specific client that are personalized for this client. And the salesperson no longer has to, create an email in their inbox. And so you can see here that all of this happened in the background while we were talking, right? There's a new comment that was added in here. This happened all automatically. And there is now, if I refresh, there's now a new draft in my inbox, but you could set this up for whoever. And at this point, all they need to do is, fill in the recipient and the title and add their signature at the bottom. They can check to make sure that all of this looks correct. You've taken it and you've been able to, if we go back a couple of slides here, we were able to do both of these things. We were able to automate this business process to make it much more streamlined. So a process that once took several hours now took a couple of minutes. And then we've also augmented the human work. We're able to give that salesperson the very first draft of their sales collaterals, at which point they can take it upon themselves to expand on it, or if they decide that it's good enough to send, they can send it off. And that lets them focus on what matters and spend more time, closing deals. And so you as an agency are providing all of this optimization for that company. And you need to be the person to spot these inefficiencies and spot these areas in which you can create AIs for whatever organization that you're creating AIs for. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jay or to Dmitry, and we will talk about how to get started.
Yeah, so we'll have some time right after we finish talking for any questions, even right now immediately. But after this call, tons of YouTube videos to be able to get up to speed. You can sign up for any of the webinars as well. I think many of you have already, but for those that are new, you can go on and go a little bit deeper into understanding how to be able to build these AIs more effectively. We have certification courses as well. And then we have a partner point of contact. And so if you ever need any help, you can reach out to the team, you can reach out to myself. And yeah, the idea is that ideally everybody and anyone can be trained to be able to build AIs on top of MindStudio. Next slide. Yeah, and so similar to what we just mentioned before, get your people trained if you're an agency or yourself. Hang your shingle, meaning let people know. Go post on your socials. Go talk to existing customers, and then also come join us in the MindStudio Discord. I think at that point we're kind of wrapped up. Dmitry, do you want to finish up with any thoughts? Yeah.
No, yeah, I don't think there's anything here that's rocket science or even computer science. I think it's like really straightforward. There's a great demand and it's only building. There's a lack of supply in this case. We need more people to service this demand. That means there's incredible opportunity for individuals or agencies or individuals to build new agencies to do it. You can get started now, today, on Monday. You can have an agency saying, hey, I build AI applications. Does anybody need digital transformation with AI? You'll find every organization needs it. And then you can, again, go and sort of blow their minds with being able to take their organization and modernize it, optimize it, using these automations and these custom AI applications that you can build for every job function that still requires humans to do it. We get lots of feedback that our training materials are awesome. Every week we still, try to level them up even more. So we produce a bunch of content. But as I mentioned, you can find it online. You can find it on, mindstudio.ai, /learn. You can find it on YouTube. Every week we host a 2-hour, sort of deep dive training webinar on how to build these if you prefer to do things live via webinars. You can join us there. Every week we host sort of Discord office hours that you can meet our team. Our Discord's very active, so you can go in there and network with other people and get support. It's a really, really friendly and active community. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is that if this is of interest to you, you can get started now, and you can be running on Monday with an AI agency servicing all of this demand. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
really quick, just piggybacking off of that thought. One thing, you should join our Discord. We have folks that are enterprises that are in our Discord asking for people to build these AI solutions for them. Like, if we talked earlier about how the demand is super high, like you can instantly see that inside of our Discord and start as soon as you go through these training materials and learn how to build AIs, like you'll be able to find your first projects inside of our Discord pretty easily.
So it looks like Liz is going to make us wrap it up.
I think people will ask questions as long as we want them to.
I'm just joking. Look, we are thrilled that all of you guys showed up here, and we're our guinea pigs in trying to explain this to agencies. I had a great time, so I appreciate that. Next time, hopefully we'll do it even better. So come to the next one, bring your friends that also might be building agencies, or if you got employees now, bring them, whatever. So we'll get better at doing this. This thing is obviously in market already with these over 37,000 AIs that are being built. Every week it's growing and accelerating. So the demand is just growing. You got here at the best time. Like everybody here won the lottery of like, we got to this thing at the very beginning. We are extraordinarily motivated because we're feeling pressure from people discovering MindStudio saying, we need support, we need agencies. So you're doing us a favor by leveling up. So it's in our best interest to level you up as quickly as possible and in sort of the best way possible to make you extraordinarily productive. So our incentives are aligned. We're committed to doing that. We're excited to do it. I mentioned how you can get in touch with us and stay in touch with us. If you are trying to close a deal, and again, something meaningful, I mean, some large organization, and you want us to come and co-sell with you, sort of jump into your sales process and help you close it, do it. Reach out to me or Jay directly. And again, if it makes sense, we'll jump in there with you and help you close all of these things. And so don't be afraid to ask us. We might say no, we don't have time. But again, chances are if it's big, we'll say yes and we'll co-sell with you. As you guys start to engage with customers and you get learnings, right? You start to realize things. We're going to ask you to participate with us in our community and sort of help all of us bubble up best practices. And so everybody can learn from one another. And so we can all get better and better and better. So please share whatever learnings you have as you might be struggling with something or you realize something that's working great. Please bubble that up. Thank you, guys. Take care.